Hi, I'm Adam from People Helping People. Today, I'm here to talk about developing authentic connections with people. Have you ever gone to a party where you just dread the small talk, or a networking event where you just don't have anything to share or care about what anyone has to say? What can you do about that? Well, as part of my work, I've been a coach with the Rao Institute on a course called Creativity and Personal Mastery. What always surprises me is we set up really meaningful conversations that happen throughout the course, and things that go much deeper than just a surface level conversation. So what are some of the things that you can do in order to generate conversations which are more fulfilling and more interesting? The first step is to be present. Whenever you're talking to somebody, make sure that you give them your full attention. In the Creativity and Personal Mastery course, before we begin an exercise, we take a moment to pause for 10 deep breaths. Now, you don't need to do this in practice, but sometimes just taking a deep breath and reminding yourself where you are opens up just a little bit more attention to what's in front of you. Then, when you're talking with somebody, don't spend your time just babbling on trying to get in the next thing to say, but shut up and listen, and really listen. Don't plan in your head a response or try to find a way to change the argument. Just be quiet and listen to what is being said. Give space for that. This space for being listened to is really precious. We don't have very much of it. And it's very easy to do. All you have to do is pay attention to what's being said and really pay attention. You don't even need to respond. Sometimes it's nice to throw out a little bit of encouragement, but when you're listening, then questions flow naturally and something deeper comes out of that. On the other side of that, when you are sharing, it helps to be vulnerable and share where you want to grow. This doesn't mean opening up all your tragic inside stories. We don't need to hear that. But by being vulnerable, I mean, instead of focusing on here's what I'm doing great and what I want to get out of the world, share a little bit about where you're struggling and what you want to find from the world. How the world could help you grow and become better at whatever it is that you're doing. Share that. People love it when there's something a little bit deeper going on and there's some acknowledgement that we don't have everything figured out. Quite often that can lead to very interesting conversations. Next, be curious, right? We're all human beings. We all share a lot more than you can imagine. And there's something to be said for just being curious about what that story is in another person. Quite often, people don't share the interesting stories that they innately have, these cool experiences that have brought them up through life or shaped them. So take it upon yourself to be the one that has to dig out that cool story, right? Find it. Pay attention to the hints people are dropping. Quite often people will share just a very quick snippet of something that they care about, and then they'll move on. If you listen to it, you might find out that they love dogs or, run a rescue shelter. Perhaps they volunteer at a soup kitchen. Maybe they had a traumatic experience in their childhood that shaped who they are. And picking up on that little hint and, pulling on that thread, just a little bit of curiosity about what that cool story is that's inside of another person, you can actually lead to some really interesting conversations. Now, most of all, when I go out and I speak with people, I am very passionate about social entrepreneurship, social change. I make that very clear when I'm heading into conversations, because that's what I care about and I find interesting. And I find that it resonates with a lot of people, right? There's a lot of people who go to their jobs and they do something, they earn a paycheck, and it's fine, but it doesn't define who they are. They want something more. And when you pull on that thread of what's that something more? What is it that you care about? What makes you you? Some people are just like, well, I don't know. And there's a fun way to kind of just dive into that by opening it up and being like, well, what have you done? What did you want to do as a child? What issues do you care about? Have you volunteered? Who do you connect with? What's your favorite thing to do in your spare time? And developing that natural curiosity wherever you go, it's going to open up new doors and new connections. You might find that somebody you meet shares a similar passion to you. in which case, hey, you've got something to bond over and grow from. At the end of the day, we're all human, and anywhere you go in the world, people are pretty much the same. I think people really don't understand how much our global experience is shaped by shared stories, right? And with media being pretty much global, social media, Facebook, TV, Netflix, it's pretty much the same around the world. We have a lot of similar stories that come from that and similar things that we face in our life. So go out there and be curious, be yourself, and be present. And you'll find yourself having much more authentic communication. Thanks.